Second thing, with regards to professional and social networking, and on this one, it kind of goes against the Ghanaian mentality of networking. Because I think when we talk about networking in the Ghanaian context, a lot of the time we're talking about, or people think it's about connections. That's the word that comes up, right? I have connections, or it's because of connections and so on. But I'd like to challenge you to take it a step further when it comes to networking and expand your understanding of what networking is. To put it in very, very simple terms, networking is about nurturing relationships. And when you put it in that term, it's no longer a short-term thing whereby, oh, I need a connection to get this job, or I need a connection to go to this event. It becomes a long-term thing. And when it comes to relationships, that's what it is. We are forever building our relationship. Sometimes we do well, sometimes we don't. It's a living, breathing thing that you work on continuously, right? Now, with all of these professional and social relationships that you might be building, this applies to both online and offline, try as much as possible to offer some value. I think that is the most important thing. If you find yourself in a relationship, whether social or professional, where it is one-sided, just think about how it feels when it feels like you are the one always giving and there's nothing ever coming back to you. It makes you reluctant to give. So now think about all the people that you might potentially want to connect with, right? And also going with Ghanaian mentality, I'll talk more about this later, but going with Ghanaian mentality, a lot of us tend to reach out to the same people to build relationships with them. So we tend to reach out to people we think are famous, or people we think have status or have money. It's usually around those things. So if these people are getting the same, are getting many, many people contacting them, right? And nobody ever offers value to them. You can imagine how they must be feeling at that point, very one-sided. So another way to differentiate yourself when you're building relationships is to offer value. And what do I mean by value? I don't mean that you need to put money in my bank account. I do not mean that you need to claim that I am this genius when I'm not. No, value can be something as simple as, hey, Jemila, I read this article and it sounds very similar to what you've been discussing. I thought that you might find it interesting. That's an example, right, of giving value. Or it could be something as simple as, oh, hey, I saw this job posting, and I thought that it might be something that you might be interested in, or this opportunity, and I thought it might be something you might be interested in. And then the one that most people totally do not even think about, hey, Jemila, how are you? Just a simple, how are you? Most times I'll get messages from people who say hi, and then I know immediately that they want something, but very rarely do people actually genuinely ask, how are you doing? Right. And so those who do, I usually will give them more time, because you recognized that I'm a human being first and foremost. And then that's also a way of starting or creating connections that could be built into relationships. So offer value.